Hi, this is Katie O'Connor from NMSU Grants. I am the Program Manager for Education, and I am here to show you how to start using your Zoom account within your NMSU Canvas course. So basically, I am going to share my screen with you that shows you how to use, how to get into your Canvas course and use Zoom. All right, so there's a couple of things you do need to know before you go do that. You need to set up your Zoom account. So if you go to nmsuzoom.zoom.us, you can create your account. What will happen is it'll direct you back to your NMSU login. So you'll need to log in with your NMSU username and password. Once you do that, follow the directions and you will create your account for your Zoom. This is very quick, very easy, very simple. It's not hard to do. Just make sure that you do this as your first step. You've got to create your account for everything to work. Follow any directions that Zoom might give you. And also, if you have a chance to download the app onto any of your devices, your computers, do that so that you have it with you when you need it. If you do not have a computer that has a webcam in it, call NMSU Grants IT at 505-287-6666, and basically they will help you find, maybe perhaps they can help you with that. They are checking out laptops that should have a webcam in it. So make sure you ask for one with a webcam in it. You can also go to grantsit@nmsu.edu, and they send an email with the request. Let them know that you are faculty and that you are working on adding Zoom to your courses and that you need a laptop with a webcam in it. So basically, I'm going to show you here on a developmental course. So this is a course that's not published. I found out the hard way. I can't practice Zoom on a published course, or my messages go out to students and it's not practice anymore, it's real. And so basically I'm doing this on a developmental shell. So I'm coming into one of my courses, and basically you can see all the information is here. And what I would tell you is, that should be set up. You should have a home page or front page that includes all the information about the course, a basic announcement, your textbooks, and also your contact information down at the bottom should be somewhere on the page. Now, how you put it together is your choice, but the information should be there. So under your home menu, so if you go to home and you go all the way down, you can click on Zoom, which is right down here at the bottom on this one. So you click on Zoom and it takes you to a Zoom room. And in your Zoom room, you can see what you need to see here. You can basically schedule a new meeting. So click on that. And so here you have the topic. This is your course, and you can actually put like a chapter, say a chapter topic, or whatever you're discussing, or whatever the meeting is. Like you can have a meeting about Zoom setup, so you could do that. And then right here you would say, this topic will be discussed at Zoom meeting. So you're basically telling them you're going to have a discussion and a lecture on Zoom. Now, what I would recommend is that you do the Zoom meetings at your regular class times, because students have scheduled to be there at that time for the semester. So if you change it on them, that could be confusing if they're working or they scheduled something up until that time and then they run to class. You need to keep it at the same meeting time that you've been having class at, unless the class agrees. Now that with all this change because of the coronavirus and a lot of people are at home, some of them may be able to meet earlier, later, but you need to take a poll for the class. Now, if the students paid for the class, they're in the class, and they've designated this time slot for the class, I would recommend that you have the class at that time. So, so basically, I'm going to set it up today for, let's say, I better set it up for 4 o'clock. And then you can set it up for an hour. I don't believe that Zoom will allow you to go longer than an hour, but you can try that out. We want to make sure this is on Mountain Time, and set it for a reoccurring meeting. That means you can set it up so that you can have it several times a day if you want, or you can set it up weekly. So if I wanted to set this class up, say instead on Tuesdays and Thursdays and get rid of Wednesday, I could do that. I could set it up, if that was my class time, my regular class time, I could set it up for those days. So Thursday, so it ends by the 14th, simply because the last day of class is the 15th. So your last day to meet with students would be the 14th of May. And so you add that there. You can go keep scrolling down. You're going to see registration. You can require a registration where attendees register once and can attend any of the occurrences, or attendees need to register for each occurrence, or attendees register once and can choose one or more occurrences to attend. So basically, I've been leaving this blank on some of my courses, but it's up to you to decide how you want that to work out. I think it might be good to check this one and have them make sure that they register. But it's up to you. So you think about that and decide what you want to do. For video, you want the host on. You can put participants on as well. That way, if they have a video, they're able to, you'll be able to see them. They'll be able to see you. And I think as we get started, that may be a good thing. For audio, you want to have telephone, computer, or both. Now, I would check both. That way, if a student doesn't have a webcam, they can call in on their phone and still access the recording of what's going on. It's still live, so they'll be able to call and hear everything that's going on. Now, in some courses that may work, and others that may not work. So you have to decide how you want to do that. Attending require a meeting password. I would leave that blank for now. If you want to do that later, you can. But I think for now, just leave it blank. Enable join before host. Yeah, let students get there a little early, and you can put them in the waiting room, which is the next block down. Enable waiting room. In between that is mute participants upon entry. I would say don't mute them right now. Let them get in and get used to the course before you do that. Now, when you're conducting the course meeting, there is a microphone at the lower left-hand corner of your screen. You can actually click on that to mute participants. So if, say, everybody's talking at once and you're not able to be heard above all the noise, you can mute them. The other thing is if students are at home, you may have kids running through the house, you may have dogs barking, the doorbell's ringing, the TV on, so there may be just too much noise for you to contend with. So you can always mute them and say, I'm muting you, simply because it's just too noisy, or everybody needs to listen, you know, and then you can open their mics so that they can speak when you want them to speak. But upon entry, I would allow the mics to be open just so that you can see who is able to come on via video and through their microphone. And that's a good way to start. So you can always change this or edit this meeting if you want. So you'll have that opportunity. So down here at the bottom, you can invite an alternative host if you'd like, but for now I would just leave that blank. And then you just save. Now, once it's saved, you're back in the front page of your Zoom. It's kind of a front page. It brings you back to this page, and essentially it tells you what, the course meeting is, the topic, the description, the time of the meeting, and the date and the time. And also you can add this to Google Calendar, Outlook Calendar, or Yahoo Calendar if you'd like. Now, I would recommend that you do this ahead of time. You have that set up so that you aren't doing it like right before the meeting or in the meeting. You have a meeting ID number. Make sure that you know what that is in case you need it. You never know. Here is a URL so that you can invite attendees, and you can actually copy the invitation and put this in announcements or send it out via email ahead of time so that students get that email. They can click right on it and they'll come right into the meeting. But there's actually a better way than that. Once this meeting is set up in this class, all students need to do is log on and come down to their Zoom room. Once they come there, they're going to be right in the meeting. And so I don't think you need to worry about copying the invitation. But it would be just sort of like frosting on the cake a little bit. You go a little bit farther distance to pull in those students that are avoiding doing the meeting. And you can also let them know that these meetings are part of their course, part of their completion of their course. So they need to be able to attend any way they can. We also need to make kind of allowances for those students that didn't sign up for an online course that are now saddled with trying to get the technology and trying to understand it, trying to navigate their way through an online course for the first time. It may be difficult, so it's a good time to sort of, be compassionate and try to touch base with them via email and help them get set up any way they can. So this just tells you have the enable join before host, enable waiting room, and record the meeting automatically on the computer. Again, that's really important to do that so that everything gets organized. And actually, I would edit that. I'm going to edit that, and I'm going to say store it on the cloud. That way, if you need to access something later on down the road, it'll be stored, and you can access it, say, 2 or 3 semesters from now. Say if you want to access a video that you did or a lecture you did back when, you could do that, and then you could put it on the current course so that information is stored. So you want to store everything in the cloud. That way you may not have to repeat lectures if you don't want to. If they worked out, you may be able to reuse them. However, this is so easy, and spur of the moment, I think it's going to be pretty easy for you to start using it. So again, I'm saving it. And so pretty much there you go. You have everything set up for your meeting. And at this point, you don't need to start the meeting because it's not until the future. So at this point, you can just hop out of your Zoom room and go about your day. Now let's see, if we go back to the Zoom room, will we see the same thing? No, there it is. There's a list of all the meetings that you will find that you've scheduled. So I scheduled them twice a week for the rest of the semester. Well, really from today. So that's quite a lot of meetings that we have. Where you can talk to students. You can also hold office hours on Zoom. You can have individual meetings. If you want to move someone to a personal meeting room, you can do that. You can look at previous meetings. You can look at all your upcoming meetings. Just make sure you click on that. And there you go. You have everything there. And when the day comes, say it's tomorrow at 4 o'clock, I would come in and I just click start and it'll start my meeting. Now, if you've set up your Zoom everything should be in order, and you'll be able to just conduct the meeting, let students come in, tell them how to use the chat if you can't hear them, or how to turn on their mics if maybe they're having mic issues. So you might want to download some of the important information so you know basically, oh, I lost that. But you may want to download some important information on how to use Zoom, and you can find that all through NMSU Zoom. There's a faculty quick start guide, there's a student quick start guide, and it should tell you how to set up your Zoom controls so that you can do nifty little things like what I'm doing right here. You can see I stopped sharing my screen. So again, screen sharing is awesome because you can actually show a PowerPoint and narrate it as you go. And students can ask questions. It's like being in a live classroom. It's very cool. You can also show a video, but I haven't tried that. There may be some particulars we need to find out about that. But as you see, it looks like I'm sitting on the beach with the ocean behind me, with the pine trees. You can practically smell the sea water and hear the sound of the water rolling in, the waves. But I'm not on the beach. I'm actually here at home. And if I go down to where my video is on my screen, I can choose a virtual background. So I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see my virtual background. I don't know if it'll let me, I don't think it's going to let me share that, darn it. But I can change it so that I look like I'm out in space. I can change it so that I look like I'm in the grass, or I'm like have the Golden Gate Bridge behind me in San Francisco. I can also do like, I think, Northern Lights so that, you know, that's behind me as well. So I can hop around the universe just in a few places and kind of show a different screen. I, for one, really like the beach just because it makes me feel like I'm in paradise, even when I'm not, even when I'm just home. And I'm going to show you what it looks like at home. If I put none, then you can see me here. I'm here in my home in Grants, New Mexico, and I'm giving you a Zoomcast. So I hope that this Zoom was helpful. I hope that you can find everything you need. You're welcome to email me at Katioco, KATIOCO, at nmsu.edu, or you're welcome to call me. Call me if you need to. My cell phone is 505-240-0154. So give me a call if you get stuck, you need help. I can walk you through the process. I hope all goes well, and enjoy learning Zoom.